We're back. November 15th. Loddy and Mac, Sports on the Sack. LODMAC_Yanks. Get on Twitter. Be on the IG soon. Clips coming your way. Baseball season's officially over. Great night tonight, guys. Did you see what happened right before we all got here?
We'll take it. Good start.
Rizzo.
Anthony Rizzo back to the Bronx, and that might be a good sign for the big guy coming back. Enough about that. We're going to hot stove it and all the way up until February, just a little bit here and there. But from this time to that, Hal, Cash, and Boone will still be a non-owner, a non-interested owner. Stay Hot Cash, the Cash Clown, and Booney, the puppet. One Yankee thing before we get going here. It is almost Turkey Day, a week away. Speaking of turkeys, joined here by Loddy, Angry Jay, the commish. The Don Father is back.
Thanks for stopping in.
And thanks for stopping by.
Glad to be here.
Missed you.
I'm sure. I like those boots you're wearing there. Straight out of Austin.
The Don Father's got Spurs that jingle down here tonight. We're going to talk about the biggest turkey of all time to ever play in the Bronx. And everybody's got a turn. I know no one's going to have my guy, and I'm interested to see who you all take for your biggest turkey. Caveat to this is the Don Father, big Sox fan. I mean, we let him in anyway, but big Sox fan. We said maybe he could go with a sock. He might surprise us here, but this is a Yankee segment. Biggest turkey, Loddy.
First of all, I know we always have assigned seats. I'm a little uncomfortable next to Angry Jay tonight after that Eagles game. I'm going to try to hold my territory, hold my spot right here. But if I have to move, I will. I'm going with a guy that didn't actually play in the Bronx, but was destined for the Bronx. Brian Taylor, drafted by the Yanks, #1 consensus pick in 1991. 92 was the #1 prospect for Baseball America. The following year was a #2 prospect. The Yankees actually fast-tracked him, which was pretty common back then under that regime. If he was in the Yankee system now, he'd probably do 6 years in the minors. But through 2 years, he was already through Double-A. And then in 94, he was going to start at Triple-A and probably ultimately get in that rotation in 94. But in the off-season, got in a fight defending his brother, tore his labrum, his shoulder popped out. He was just never the same. Had a cup of coffee in the Yankee system a little bit down the road, but he probably lost himself how many tens of millions of dollars. He was pitching 100 miles an hour before it was fashionable. And I read something that Scott Boras, the super agent, said he was the best and still is the best high school prospect in terms of pitchers to ever come out. And like I said, he lost tens of millions of dollars. Where the Yankees would have ended up, I don't know. I think they did pretty good from 96 to 2000 anyway. Maybe they win more, maybe they win less. We'll never know, but that's my turkey.
One dust-up, and that's a career for him.
That was it.
Stay hot. Stay hot, Taylor. You think Cashman will bring him back next year?
He's in the analytics office now.
Was Brian Taylor a bowling alley incident, too?
That was Iverson.
I know
No,
Iverson was. I thought
it was
Brian
a
Taylor
bar.
was
It
a
was a
bar.
bar,
Okay,
yeah.
I was gonna say stay out of the bowling lanes.
Yeah. Was he bowling lefty, too? Come on, buddy.
I know.
Angry Jay. Any Yankees you don't like? Gobble, gobble?
Oh gosh. So this was tough to shorten. I mean,
Angry.
It's player only, right? So, I went through several guys. We had mentioned some with free agent bus. Kei Agawa came to mind. Thought about Ellsbury, but I shortened it because of the way we lost him. And my guy is one Connecticut's own Carl Pavano, who murdered us in the World Series in 2003. Like, basically shut us down a couple times. I believe he was also cut from the Nutmeg games by our high school baseball coach, which is pretty impressive also. But
It wasn't good enough for the Nutmeg
yeah,
games?
he didn't make the All-Star, the Connecticut All-Star team.
With 4 teams?
Yeah, and then he was pitching in the World Series, and the Yankees couldn't get a hit off
4
him,
years later? Stay
which
hot,
is-
coach.
Yeah. So we signed this guy in 2005 to a 4-year, $38 million contract to be one of our top of the line rotation guys. In the 4 years, he only pitched in 3 of them. He went 9-9 in 4 years with a 5+ ERA, 145 innings for $38 million. And if it wasn't bad enough he missed the 2006 season, his second season with the Yankees, because he got injured in spring training. He injured his shoulder. And he gets my vote for the biggest turkey because he lied to the Yankees on how he got injured. He got in a car accident down in Fort Lauderdale or wherever it was, or Tampa, excuse me, and he had a female in the car too. And he told the Yankees he had heard it throwing or whatever, and they found out he had gotten in the car accident. And after that, he went 5-3, and he pitched 45 innings. He missed that whole year, and then he went 5-3 and pitched 45 innings over the next 2. And for 4 years, $38 million, he narrowly beats out Kayagawa for me.
Man. We'll probably have him next year, right? In the rotation.
Every time I see a Valdi, it reminds me of Pavano. Just the look.
Yeah,
of, right?
he
Just
actually had the same kind of release over the top.
Gun to your head. Evaldi, Pavano.
Valdi.
Valdi easily.
Awesome. I like him. We had him. Commish.
All right, the 80s were not a good time to be a Yankee fan. I think we can all agree on that. Do you guys remember what happened on August 2nd, 1985 versus the Chicago White Sox?
No hitter.
Bobby Meacham and Dale Bear tagged out in the same play at home plate by Carlton Fisk. Ricky Henderson doubles to left center field. Meacham goes halfway. Dale Bear puts his head down, keeps running. Both guys get tagged up by Fisk at a plate. Dale Bear, my friends, is my turkey of all time.
Whoa.
That moment sticks with me. Do you know the numbers on these guys? I know you
20 and 2.
Oh,
Who's the third base coach?
Gene Michael.
Yes,
The stick?
nicely done.
Number?
Yes.
Number?
Oh, that's a good one. Ah.
Thought it was 11.
44?
33.
yeah.
We're going to check that one, Loddy. You positive? Okay. Eric Plunk's number? Ron Kittle?
Now, Berra and Meacham are one of only 6 players to be tagged out at the same play at the plate in Major League history.
Wow.
The 8-6-2-2 double play.
8622.
That happened more than once.
Yeah, 6 times.
Got to be remembered for something.
For that, Dale Berra, the son of Yogi, Hall of Famer, perhaps one of the best Yankees of all time, or definitely one of the best Yankees of all time, is my turkey this Thanksgiving.
Commish. I mean, only somebody who applied for the Major League Baseball commissioner's job can take a Hall of Famer's son on the all-time Yankee turkey list.
I remember that game. That was the game of the week for ABC, like Monday Night Baseball or something like that.
I remember the back of the Daily News. They had a great angle of both of them.
The ball was hit the left center, Death Valley, right? I just remember seeing 430 on the blue wall.
Fisk
It
had
was
to
a
be laughing.
bomb.
Fisk had to be laughing. Come on, Meacham.
You remember Meacham kicking the ground ball? What Steinbrenner did to him? He didn't send him to AAA. He sent him to AA after kicking the ground ball.
What would he have done with IKF?
Oh my goodness. He would have been a Muzzy. Don Father.
I am not going to go Yankees. Shocker. You gave me the option to go Red Sox, so I'm going Red Sox. And it's Carl Crawford. Signed the guy in 2011 for seven years, $142 million. 2010, he won the Silver Slugger Award, Golden Glove, top 4 at MVP voting.
For the Rays?
For the Rays.
He was a stud for the Rays.
And he was a beast. And the Nessing ratings were tanking. The ownership needed Theo to make a big sign. Theo didn't want to sign him. Ownership pushed him to sign him. They signed him, and then he ended up playing for not even 2 years. Got a total of 23 stolen bases and batted just under 260 for his fine Red Sox career before they shipped him off with half the other team to the Dodgers.
They do that every once in a while, don't
You
they?
don't win a World Series for the Red Sox. They get rid of you. We don't hold on like the Yankees.
That was
goodness.
like Adrian Gonzalez
Yeah.
and Pablo San. Like, that was a tough team.
The
to
Panda
like,
was
huh?
close. The Panda was close on my list too.
That's our second Carl Crawford reference, I think, in the last 2 weeks, right?
Stay hot, Carl.
Hot Carl, yeah.
Hot Carl. All right, so Don Father.
Yes, sir.
Did he play football?
Who?
Crawford?
Oh, yeah.
sounds
Nebraska?
Nebraska, yep.
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah.
What an athlete.
Yep. Option guy.
Whew.
Shocker, huh?
All right, so I'll go last here. My guy wasn't in pinstripes for long, and he didn't play in pinstripes hardly ever, and that's the reason he's on my list here. Eddie Whitson. I think we got him in 85. Was it 85?
I believe so, yeah.
And then he spent part of the year in 96 before Lou convinced everybody to get rid of him. I think Lou was the manager then. There was a rule that he couldn't pitch at Yankee Stadium, and then they had you heard that right. He wouldn't pitch at home. You know, all these guys crying now about getting booed. Give me a break. Rizzo didn't mind. Jeter loved it. Jeter said it was a sign they weren't playing well enough. You know, it was a message.
Yeah, it means the fans care.
Yeah, so Fast Eddie Whitson, I think number 38. Might be wrong about that.
No, correct.
Yeah. Fast Eddie Whitson, they had a 10-game stand one time. One of the commission's favorite all-time players, Lou Piniella, is his manager, and he goes, he's got to pitch just one time here. He's got to pitch one time. It'd be a shame if we don't use him once in the 10-game homestand, and they almost didn't. And there was another stipulation he had about possibly only pitching on Sundays for a little while. I mean, you talk about somebody who was pampered before the days of having to pamper everybody. Like, Eddie Whitson was a clown. He was a circus act. He was high maintenance. And, you know, to put it over the top, I'm at the state at about late 85. Angry Jay right next to me on top of the dugout. Eddie's coming out of the bullpen after the game. There's one fan that's calling his name, a kid that was a couple years younger than us. Eddie, can I have the ball? Mr. Whitson. He throws it toward the guy. Angry Jay, plastic man, sticks his hand in front of him, takes it, and we're out of there. We're only a couple years older than him, but, Eddie Whitson deserved it. All right. That's definitely true. All right. Mount Rushmore time. This week's Mount Rushmore, by popular demand, is on basketball. And we're going to talk about all-time basketball nicknames. Kamish, you're up.
All right, here's my 4. Magic Johnson.
That wasn't his real name?
No, Irvin was his real name.
Jeez.
Pistol Pete, the Greek Freak, and the Mailman.
You guys know who those guys are?
Sure do.
You know who the mailman is, Don Father?
It's one of my favorites. Until
He delivered, didn't he? Remember the dunk he used to do with the hand behind the head? That was a little corny, but who would mess with him? I know Isaiah wouldn't.
I was reading Pistol Pete's nickname came about in high school because of the way he shot the ball from the side.
Was it?
Yeah, I didn't know where that came from. I figured it was just with his passing and the way he shot up and down the court. But yeah, that was those are my 4.
I know his dad was pretty hard on him, training him, making him dribble the ball out of the car while the car was moving. I don't know if you
That's
read that
a pretty
book
cool drill.
someday,
Yeah,
guys.
that's a pretty cool drill.
Jeez. Loddy.
I agree with the Pistol Pete one. That's one that I had, and I did read that same story. He got that in high school because of the way that he shot down there his hip. I also got Dr. J, only because I always thought that was just his name as a little kid. I had no idea it was Julius Erving. That was a high school nickname that he was given. And, basketball in the late 70s and 80s was synonymous with Dr. J. A couple others, I got Clyde Frazier, just as a Knicks fan. Does anybody know why he was nicknamed Clyde?
Nope.
Remember the movie Bonnie and Clyde?
Yep.
And Warren Beatty wore the wide-brimmed hat. Clyde made it famous in New York City in the 60s and 70s, hanging out at Studio 54.
He loved to dress up, didn't he?
Yeah, and he still does if you guys watch the games.
They still play?
I don't want to talk about it. Maybe we'll get into it in a few months when the draft's coming up.
He gave up 145 to Oklahoma City there.
I thought we were talking about nicknames right now, though. So I got Clyde, and then I got Big Shot Bob. Who is it?
Robert
Horry.
Robert Horry won 7 titles in his career, averaged 7 points a game. But any time there was a big shot, whatever team he was on, they looked for Big Shot Bob.
They didn't look for him. They usually this guy was getting
he was
triple
the
teamed.
guy that was wide
Pop
open.
a long rebound and throw it back.
Yeah, remember the Kobe game, long rebound. He was there. But did he make big shots?
Yeah.
7 titles.
Absolutely.
So those are my 4.
I love it.
All right. Jay's pivoting to me. All right, we're going to go with, you guys are very conservative with your nicknames, so I'm going with the King of the Fourth. Everybody knows who that is? Isaiah Thomas. The King of the Fourth.
I thought it was
The
just,
little
I thought it
one?
was just
Yes.
Zeke.
The little one? No, he's talking about the little guy.
Celtic.
The little guy.
The great Celtic,
Are
Isaiah
you
Thomas.
a Celtic fan?
The king of the fourth.
Give me a break with that one. All right, go
I
ahead.
also like Chocolate Thunder.
Okay, I'll give you that one.
Do you like
You
that?
redeemed yourself.
Who is
Also-
it? You got to say who it is, guys, or somebody else chime in.
Daryl Dawkins.
Yeah, chocolate down the flying, glass flying, rough roasted bun toasting, robazine crying, glass still flying, babies crying, cats crying, chocolate down the steak of the Monday.
The Buffet of Goodness.
John Hopplate Williams.
Channing Frye. The
The
Buffet, of Goodness.
Why? Why though?
Bobby didn't say find out why. He just gave,
That's
said give the
interesting.
nicknames.
Wow. Never knew that at all.
And
That's
I went
obscure.
with the human highlight film for my my last one.
Dominique, also known as the human highlight reel. Where'd he go to college, people?
Georgia.
What was his brother's name?
Gerald.
What team was Gerald known for playing on?
The Knicks.
Next.
Do they have a varsity?
Next.
Okay, sorry, Lad.
Angry Jay. What do you
Jay.
got? What do you got,
Jay.
Angry Jay? Let's go.
So I took my time with this. I actually did a little studying last night. There's so many to choose from. So I got an honorable mention. I'm going to run through that some of you guys haven't. The Rifleman, Chuck Person. Some old ABA guys as a kid that I loved. Marvin Bad News Barnes. Aaron Gang Sign Wedemeyer. Paul Speed Bump McKeskey.
Paul Mokeski?
Yeah. So more modern guys, Kevin Big Ticket Garnett, Billy the Whopper Paultz because he liked eating cheeseburgers. It's hard to pass on the glove Gary Payton, another nice one that didn't make the cut for me. Jerry Mr. Clutch West. That's a pretty cool nickname, having Clutch.
Yeah, nothing better than that.
You guys mentioned the Round Mound rebound, Barkley, being a Larry Bird fan. The Hick from French Lick, also known as the Legend. A couple other ones that still didn't make the cut. The Microwave, Vinnie Johnson. Don Father mentioned the human highlight film.
I'm going to go after this, everybody. Go ahead.
Yeah, so listen, this was tough. This was tough for me. That's why. So, Dr.
How big is
Duncanstein-
Mount Rushmore? What happened?
So we had four, right? And the last one that didn't make the cut was Magic Johnson for me. And I'll give you four. Mine are a combination of, I think, cool and funny nicknames. Number 4 would have been Marvin, the Human Eraser Webster.
Knicks.
And Nick. I'll give you guys a couple bucks if you come up with a school. That's what I thought.
Should we know it?
No.
Okay.
Morgan State. Got the nickname for blocking a whole bunch of shots in college. Stuck with it. One of my personal favorites. Traded by Auerbach to help get Robert Parrish and Kevin McHale, the number 1 pick. Joe Barry Carroll. His nickname was Joe Barely Cares.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Kind of funny. And the last two, my brother had a poster of this guy in our bedroom. George the Iceman
Gervin.
The Iceman
I had him.
Gervin.
the
poster
finger roll,
was
baby.
unbelievable.
The classic poster
Yeah.
with the hands on the two like frozen ball.
And
like,
he's sitting on the blocks of ice. And the last one, we had mentioned him, Allen Iverson. The answer, the nickname is awesome. He got it in high school. They were like, they had a smaller team. They're like, how are you guys going to beat these guys? And they would just point at him like, there's your answer right
he was the
there.
answer.
So the answer.
I don't know.
Jay's
the
Mount
story.
Rushmore picks are done through the holidays right now because
Yeah.
he just went for the
I hate
next
to be the
6
guy who has
weeks.
to carve all those things on the rock.
Yeah, well, what do you want me to tell you?
You know what I thought you were going to tell me? I thought you were going to go with the truth. Did you not say the truth?
No, he was. I considered him. But
Paul Pierce.
The other 4 I love.
Big Baby. Basketball is a great nickname sport. So, I mean, I'm going to only have 4 then after that. I'm not going to mention the 3 Uconn guys, Cardiac, Kemba, Rip, Ray. The Houdini of the Hardwood. You guys know who that is? Koozie. Wizard of Westwood, the coach.
Yeah.
Anyone know who Big Burrito is? I'll give you a hint. His brother is Pau Gasol. Marcus Gasol, Big Burrito. Kind of like that one. Human highlight film. Don Fowler stole that. Air's mine. Air Canada. I think it's one of the best names ever. Angry Jay was mad last week. We didn't bring up one of the best in-game dunkers of all time, maybe the best.
The best. No question.
Also known as half man, half amazing, and Vinsanity. But Air Canada, I think, is classic. Not to be confused with the little point guard that just got fired as the Brooklyn Nets coach. Hair Canada. That was his nickname. Going off the reservation a little bit with a non-NBA player, not Skip to my Lou because he did play in the NBA, but somebody he was on tour with, Nicholas Boucher, also known as the Professor, and won mixtapes. I loved the nickname in college, Never Nervous Purvis. His coach was Denny Crum, not to be confused with Denny Crumbs after I got finished with him one night in Boston. But did you know when he didn't play a lot in the NBA, they started calling him Out of Service Purvis?
Yes.
That's kind of funny.
With the Celtics, yeah.
I was going to say he was with the C's, right?
Last one, no matter what Hall of Fame or GOAT conversation you're having, this guy's got to get in the conversation, and people keep, leaving him out. But you can't underestimate the leading scorer of all time for the moment, and that's the captain. The captain is Skyhook and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You don't name him the captain because he's not the captain. Oh, Don Father, don't make faces.
My
over
least
there.
favorite NBA player ever.
All right, moving into Who'd You Rather. Last week we one Barry Bonds got a lot of love, and guy was amazing, half man, half amazing. He was Vince Carter, but this is the same era, and I just can't let it go. I gotta debate it out, and go Barry Bonds versus the kid Ken Griffey. Another good nickname.
So, two all-time great players. Griffey, obviously, in the Hall of Fame. Bonds, as we mentioned last week, not in the Hall of Fame because of the steroid use, or the PED use. To me, as much as great as Griffey was, I mean, I think John, the commissioner, second me saying he's the best baseball player I've ever seen. To me, it's not even close, and it's no disrespect to Griffey, because he's was much more likable than Bonds. But if you look at Barry Bonds and what he did, first all time in home runs with 762, third all time in runs scored. He's sixth all time in RBIs. I mean, there's only been 39 guys in the history of the game to steal over 500 bases. He did that. I mean, he's 2,935 hits. He hit 298 for a career. His on-base percentage for a career is 444. Judge didn't even get to that this year, and he had an all-time season. And that's Bonds' career. I mean, he won 8 Gold Gloves. He won 7 MVPs. He's a 14-time All-Star. And, Cash probably would have liked him because he was high in WAR, too. He's 4th all-time in WAR behind Babe Ruth, Walter Johnson, and Cy Young. There wasn't anything the guy couldn't do. Other than probably get along with teammates well enough. I love Griffey. To me, it's just there's not many guys you can compare Barry Bonds to, other than the all-time greats and Ted Williams and Babe Ruth and guys like that.
Well, Willie Mays, that debate could be had, but not for us. We didn't see him.
I don't have a lot to say that I didn't say last week because I said Bonds at the time, and obviously I'm going to stick with him. And Angry Jay went through all the numbers. He only struck out over 100 times once. I mean, this is an all-time top 5 slugger. In today's game, that doesn't even exist. To strike out as little as he did. He led the National League in walks 12 times. I mean, there was basically a 4 or 5 year period where they didn't pitch to him. Everything was an intent. He got intentionally walked with the bases loaded. I mean, the guy was crazy. Obviously, he was unlikable, especially when you compare him to Griffey, who just had a joy and passion to him when he played, and he smiled and the hat on backwards, taking beat, whatever the case may be. But for me, it's got to be Bonds, and like Angry Jay said, it's just not close. You're talking about one of the best top 5 players of all time in the sport.
Jay, you laid it out perfectly. Bonds is better in every category except for Gold Gloves.
10.
Yeah, 10. It was 10 to 8 in Gold
10
Gloves.
for the kid.
And Griffey played center field. Bonds is primary left fielder, but agree 100%. Bonds is the better player. As I said before, one of the best we'll ever see. Quick Griffey story. I remember going to see him in Waterbury, in the Mickey Mantle World Series, 1985. He played for a Cincinnati team. His dad was there. Being excited about hearing about him. And Loddy mentioned the hat backwards. Just think, how long ago was that when that had the baseball world in a tizzy because he had his hat on backwards? Imagine now where I watched a Dominican League's Winter League game the other day. Took the guy 20 seconds to get the first base and a walk-off home run. People are upset about the hat on backwards. Yeah, I got to say, as much as I love Griffey and that swing of his, Bonds is definitely a better player, maybe the best player of all time.
I hate to be agreeing with everybody, but I have to. The only thing Griffey does better, other than play center field, is his swing. He's got the second best swing I've ever seen in baseball. Second best, behind Will Clark. The greatest, no doubt. But I got to go with Bonds. I don't care if I don't like Griffey or not. If I'm have bases loaded with 2 outs, who do I want up? I want Bonds up. You can't get a pitch by him, no matter where it is. So, got to go with Bonds.
Well, I hate to be the spoiler. I got to go against the textbook answers here. The segments, who would you rather? And if I'm going to have a yank, it's going to be the kid. And again, this is going to be hard to knock Barry Bonds, so just hang with me. The best outfielder you have, you're the coach, you're the manager. You're not Cashman, you're actually a real one. You're the GM. Where are you putting your best outfielder? Guy who covers the most ground, best athlete?
Center field.
Where are you putting the guy with the best arm out of the other two?
Right field.
So, safe to say that left field is the landing place for somebody that can't hack in center, doesn't have the arm for right. So, when he was a younger, skinnier player in Pittsburgh, I had immense respect for Bonds already and his ability to be good out there. His ability to hit the ball and somewhat out of the ballpark. I think he might have been 30-30 in Pittsburgh. Was he 30-30 in Pittsburgh?
He was.
But the kid, when I went to Yankee Stadium to watch him, especially playoff time, and you see him take batting practice. And again, I didn't see Barry Bonds, but the fear of God would be in you when he was taking batting practice because the ball wouldn't like arc over the fence and a couple fans would go running to try and catch one. They'd be on a line heading toward the second or third deck, and you're like, oh, my goodness, how are we going to get this guy out? I think injuries may have plagued him a tad as he got a little older and maybe didn't get crazy about training. As, his White Sox Reds days were not nearly what they were with the Mariners. But who would I rather? I'd rather have the kid. And, the 10 gold gloves, that's nothing to sneeze at. He's covering a lot of ground. He's running up. He's scaling the fence. Bonds was scary. You're going to give me my pick? I take the kid.
Bobby Mack, you think he hurt his career by going to Cincinnati? I know he had a few good years early, but it almost feels like we forgot about him because the Reds weren't very good. It was National League. And imagine if he stayed in Seattle.
Well, this is the thing about, and one of these days we'll do something on this, but that whole team should have stayed together. And, if they get a few $1 million less, this is generational wealth. Unless they're really trying to blow it, they should be set for the next several generations. That team, as much as I hated them, and maybe because I hated them, they were the Toon Squad to me. Buhner, Edgar, Tino, the kid, A-Rod.
Randy Johnson. Yeah.
The unit. That team should have stayed together, and most of these teams that are good should stay together. I'm proud of the Warriors. Durant wanted to go, but those other clowns are sticking around together. They don't look like they want to be broken up, and you can bet that LeBron's trying to snipe one of them. He wants one of them with him so he can have a chance at winning. But in the old days, I just really admired when players stayed in one franchise forever, and more importantly, when units stayed together. Even those Celtics teams I hated back then. They had the same starting five for 5 years, 6 years.
Yeah, they almost stayed together too long to their detriment. But it was I like that too. But who benefited the most from Seattle in that breakup was the Yankees, right? From 96 to 2000, do they win 4 out of 5 if Seattle's still intact? I mean, we had Tino in 96.
Tino and Jeff Nelson.
And again, Jeff Nelson, very underrated.
We were up 2-0 in 95.
95 or 2-0 going to Seattle.
We were at the game, right?
Both games.
And, you think we're going to break it. We broke the curse. We just need one. And no.
We couldn't get an out in Seattle. We right? It was like football scores.
So, Loddy, like you said, imagine if he did stay there. Do you imagine if A-Rod stayed with him? Do you imagine if and Omar at short. They had a squad. Why would they do it? Just to get a few more million. And A-Rod's the biggest pig of them all, going to Texas where the tax rules are different. And remember it was $250 for 10, and at that time we're like, never see a bigger contract than that.
Bargain.
Yeah. Anyway,
You guys want a couple more Barry Bonds stats or no?
No. No, I know. I get it.
You guys know that Griffey went back to Seattle, I think, for his last year?
At the very end, yeah.
I totally forgot about that.
Did he play or he just signed?
White Sox too, didn't he? Chicago.
I remember the White Sox, but I didn't remember him going back to Seattle until I looked at some stuff.
I was just actually in Seattle this summer, and I'm actually shocked that they don't have more of him. There is a small monument out front, but that place should be plastered, I would think.
With the kid?
Yeah.
He saved baseball in Seattle. That franchise wouldn't exist out there without him.
Yep. Built a new stadium. The house that the kid built.
Another stat that Bonds and Griffey have in common: no World Series wins.
That's right. They both did play 22 years, which is was amazing.
Man. Okay. So, all right. I guess Bonds has it. I'd like to overrule you guys, but all right. Who'd you rather list? Quick hitters. Yanks get one this offseason. One of these players from Boston, Xander or Devers. Go.
I'll take Bogarts.
I'll take the shortstop too.
I'll take the third baseman. No, we got shortstops ready to come up.
I'll give the Yankees Bogarts because I like Devers better.
And I would favor Bogarts, although Devers in Yankee Stadium would do some serious damage. All right. You got to start one of these. All right, we got Rizzo. I'm thinking that next we're going to get Judge. We're going to make one other splash. But you have to start one of these two players next year for 162. Okay, math department has no say in it. You got to start him for 162. Donaldson or Hicks? Go.
Somebody else answers.
Angry.
I got
Don't
a headache.
be angry.
I got
You
a
got to
headache
answer.
already. I got a headache already.
I'm gonna say Hicks.
I'll go
It's
Donaldson.
the lesser of two evils, I guess. I don't
Plays
know.
a great third base.
I'll take Hicks. I can't watch Donaldson anymon.
Well, the Yankees might not have won the team overall Gold Glove if they didn't have Donaldson at third. You see
I mean,
that
this
today?
is almost
Oh, my
impossible
word.
because it's mathematically impossible for Hicks to play 162 games, isn't it?
All right, relax. It's hypothetical.
All right.
Who would you rather?
I said Hicks.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Hicks, a switch hitter. I hate to say
I mean,
it,
he's
but
a Red
probably
Sox
Hicks.
fan. He's a Red like
like you.
I know. I kind of like the wrinkle.
Hicks gets on base a little bit, though, at least, no?
All right, this little segment right here, really hard to match guys up because the game has changed so much athletically. But point guards from the 80s/90s to today's point guards. I did my best with these matchups, but just go for it. Magic or Luka?
Magic.
You got to project out. Project out, please.
Magic.
Yeah.
Winner.
Magic all day.
Magic, easily.
I'm gonna tell you, Luke was overrated.
Luka.
Yeah, definitely Magic. Isaiah Thomas, the original, Zeke, or Steph? Don't laugh. I mean, Zeke was tremendous.
Steph.
I'm going Steph too. He's an all-timer.
Steph Curry.
So you're saying not the king of the fourth, but the other Isaiah Thomas?
Yeah.
Got to go Steph.
Yeah, I'll go Steph too. Again, this was hard, but I was trying to. I mean, he made shots. Zeke made
Oh, he was
shots.
tough. Absolutely.
And they didn't take these shots these guys take today. So who's to say he wouldn't have made
I
them?
think he was underrated just because people didn't like him. But
This one
what,
might
a, what
be,
a player.
This one might be closer in terms of facilitating somewhat, but Stockton or CP3?
I'm going Stockton. He's an all-time passer. That's what you want.
CP3 a Hall of Famer?
Yes.
Yeah, but I'll go Stockton, too. I feel like he elevated that team in Utah.
Stockton and Malone combination. Now you go with Stockton.
Same thing Johnny Kamish said about Bonds and Griffey. Neither can win a title. Stockton and CP3.
Yeah, I've got to go with CP3. I just think Stockton had one of the top 10 player in the league to be his back for the entire time he played. CP3's been switched around team to team to team to team. He's never had a top 10, top 20 player with him. The best player he's ever played was probably Devin Booker right now.
Don, Father, I don't want to dispute you because I don't think there's a wrong answer there. But is there a reason why he's been on so many teams? CP3.
Money.
I mean,
I think it's money
Is
now.
it money, or he
Plus,
just
he
wears
doesn't-
out his welcome? What is it?
I think he wants to move if he's not going to win. I think he wants to move. He wants to get a title. Now he's going to be that guy, the mercenary they're bringing now. Now anymore, he's past his peak now. But I'd still take him. And he was so good on defense. He's been one of the best defensive point guards the last 15 years in the league, too.
The Stockton is.
Stockton had a lot of steals. I mean,
Is he the all-time leader?
Yeah.
He's first or second, I think, all-time in steals, too.
I'm taking CP3 too, just because the Stockton Malone thing seemed like a two-headed machine to me. And CP3, like he's had to do it with multiple different teammates. And
They had Hornacek.
I
mean,
loved
what
Hornacek.
more do you need? Jeff Hornacek with that hair?
There was one other problem in the league back then why they couldn't win. Nobody else won either.
Yeah, Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
They got to the 11th hour a few times. All right. So one of the guys now that seems unguardable versus guy from the 80s, 90s that was known for guarding people, the Glove versus Ja. Could he stop him?
I'll say no. Ja's pretty impressive.
How tall is he?
I think he's only 6'1".
6'2", right?
6'2" on a
He's-
good day.
He plays like he's 6'6".
I don't watch a ton of NBA outside the Knicks for whatever reason. I mean, I still do watch the Knicks every game. But if I had to watch one guy, it'd be Morant for me.
Yeah, Morant has been popular on the podcast too. I would say Morant.
I think the Glove can guard him back in the 80s. I don't think he can guard him with the new rules today. Because if you watch him, they call him the Glove for a reason. He was very handsy.
Yeah.
He was always body checking. You can't do that anymore. So guard him back then, yes. Today, he's too fast.
Good point.
Even rules. I got to take Ja. I can't do it.
Sheep.
Nickname Mount Rushmore guy. We left him off. The UTEP two-step Tim Hardaway versus
yeah,
Dame.
that's a good one. Yeah.
Versus Dame.
I'll go with Dame now just because he's a phenomenal shooter. But that's Hardaway's a good one too. Yeah, I'll go Lillard.
That's a good one, and I respect Lillard for staying out there, although he's making a big bag of money. But I like Dame's game, and Hardaway killed the Knicks too much for me.
And that's a great comparison. I got to go with Dame.
I hate going along with Dame. I mean, you never thought of Hardaway as clutch. You think of Dame as clutch. So I go with Dame.
I was going to go with Dame till all you guys did. Now I'm going to go UTEP two-step. UTEP's two-step was
That crossover was
terrific.
wicked.
I mean, he was the first one they named a crossover after, man. So, like, in Dame, he spends too much time on his rap career. UTEP two-step had no time for that.
A common theme. Those two guys didn't never won a title either.
Not even that close.
I don't think Hardaway
Right.
ever got, he never got the one, right?
Neither did Dame.
Dame even got into a Western Conference final. One.
1 year.
Okay, there's a reason for that too. There's some teams out there.
Yep.
Last one of these ones is Kevin Johnson, one of my favorites. I think the mayor of Oakland.
Yep.
Sacramento.
Sacramento.
maybe.
I know, he's a mayor out on the West
You
Coast.
do like KJ. You've talked about
I
him,
love
I think,
KJ.
every time we've done this.
And KJ or Trey Young?
Small sample size for Trey, but I think at the end of their careers, Trey will have a better career.
I'm sorry. You watch Trey in the Garden? I'd say Trey.
So
Why you gotta say that though?
I'm not a Trey Young
There's
guy.
other venues.
I'm not a Trey Young guy. Like, I don't think the way they play, they can win with that. I mean, he has the ball constantly, the green light. Like, I'll go KJ.
I'm going to go with Ice Trey because of how good and how clutch he was in the playoffs last year. He was just tough to guard. He plays zero defense. I don't know how good KJ was on defense, but I'm going to go with Trey Young.
The KJ's underrated all time, I think, and he was tougher than you would remember just by what he looked like. But do you remember that dunk he had on Elijah? Is there many better dunks than that? I'm taking KJ. He also played baseball, by the way.
Bobby Mack, I know you want to wrap this
Oakland
up,
A's.
but I'm going to throw this out to the
Organization.
to the table here.
Yep.
Isn't basketball the hardest sport to compare eras, do you think? In terms of what we grew up in and what the game has, even the 80s to the early 2000s to now, it seems like it's an entirely different game.
Well, Loddy, yeah, because I want to compare centers, and there aren't any.
Exactly.
You know,
we
there aren't
grew
any.
up when they fed the post and the back to the basket moves were huge. And if you had a center like Malone or the Chief and McHale, and like that was a huge advantage. You don't even see it anymore.
How about even the Big Fundamental and the Admiral nicknames? But like I'd have to compare what's his name there, the process Embiid to 75 guys because he's like the only one, you know.
You guys
I don't
agree
wanna
though
hear
that it's
about
the
JaVale
toughest
McGee.
sport.
Nice
It's
game
changed so much.
Nice game for him dropping 59 the other night, huh?
Oh yeah.
Angry Jay, you've coached your whole life at a lot of different levels in the college level now. You agree with that statement? Or do you not see it as much in the college level?
Well, I think it is tough to do it because it's so perimeter oriented now. Like you had mentioned, it was back in the 80s. It was throw it inside. Everybody had a couple 7-footers. Now, if somebody has a 7-footer, he hangs out with the 3-point. Even Embiid is he a post player? I mean, are there post players anymore?
He's got a little dream shake to him down there, but he'd rather jack threes too. Same. So it's 50-50. He plays down there a little bit, plays outside a little bit.
I'm going to tell you what, you mentioned coaching, how it's changed. I mean, coaching those 8th graders, I mean, geez, you got dads coaching now. You know, who's coaching? It's a different game now. It's totally changed.
But the Don Father mentioned it, like the rules are so different. You know, back then you drove to the basket and it was basically like you had to be bleeding or like a body part had to be missing. Now it's
play on.
Yeah.
Play on.
I think it's almost impossible to compare any sport. I mean, look at baseball.
Yeah.
Just times change. Guys aren't throwing 100 every time they come out of the bullpen.
Well, Commish, you'd know baseball better than anyone. You did apply for the job, but like in baseball, you got to hit. You still got to get in there and hit. The pitcher still got to get up on the hill and get you out. And
I don't think Babe Ruth had a lefty throwing 100 coming in the 7th inning.
I don't think these guys could live like Babe Ruth and wake up in the morning and hit 3 more home runs.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's fair.
Roaring 20s. The guy had a great time.
Yeah, he had a good time on the train.
Yeah, he did. All right.
The belly around the world.
What do you? But let's be serious. Let's bring it back to seriousness here for a minute. There's a podcast integrity here.
I was serious about the train.
No, I got you. Little integrity. All right, here we go. What's more destructive? A hurricane or cash?
I gotta go with the natural disaster.
I'm going Cash. Like he's been ruining my dreams for 20-something years. Go away, dude.
He's destructive.
Yeah, hurricanes come and go. They're seasonal. Cash, for me, is 365. He just kills me.
I'm going to go with a hurricane. I think Cash is the greatest thing to happen to baseball in the last 50 years. So
I'm going to break the tie here and go Cash is way more destructive. But what if it was Hurricane Hal versus Cash? Go.
Which one's more destructive?
Yeah.
Still Cash, because Hal gives him $270 million to work with.
Hal has the power to put the hurricane to rest, and he hasn't done it yet. So I'm going to say Hal's worse.
Yeah, there's no debate there.
What do we all have to say to Cash one last time?
Stay hot.
Stay hot, Cash. All right. Who would you rather be in trouble with? Who would you rather be on the wrong side of? Tony Soprano or Sonny from Bronx Tale?
Sonny.
You'd rather be in trouble with Sonny? Is that what you're saying?
Then Tony?
I agree with you, Don Father, on that one.
Yeah, I don't.
What if you were in a biker bar?
I don't want no part of Tony. No, none.
So everyone says Sonny. You don't think Tony Soprano's more of a compiler? I mean...
This guy is a wrecking machine, and he's hungry.
I mean, his numbers are off the charts, but how long did he play? All right. Snow Day Watch. You get one movie. Snow Day Watch. I got a classic here for
Goodfellas
you.
and what?
No. Commish.
Casino?
Jaws or Rocky? You only get one. Then there's no TV the rest of the day. Snow Day Watch. Go.
I thought we did this one already.
No, I said Jaws or Rocky.
I
That's
know.
what I
I think we had that one last week. I went Rocky.
No, we didn't.
I'm staying
I'll go
Rocky.
Jaws. I think Jaws is as good as Rocky is. Jaws might be the all-timer.
Here's the swimming bull-legged women. I'm going Jaws.
I'm going to go Jaws. You give me Rocky 2 or Rocky 4, that's a different story, but Jaws.
Rocky
Four
IV?
is a clown show. Come on.
you're
kidding me?
No, that was a good one.
You're going to need a bigger boat. I'm going Jaws. However,
I must break you,
follow-up
Jay.
question.
Definitely not Jaws 2.
No. Follow-up question. Jaws 2 or Rocky 2?
Oh, hands down.
Rocky 2. Rocky 2.
Rocky 2.
Rock.
Wins the ship, right?
He wins. Yeah.
Does he win? He wins the ship.
Yeah. How bad is the Lou Filippo? He's the referee in these fights. Like, I mean, how's this guy still have a license?
Oh, I know you let him go.
Oh
He didn't win the ship in the first one, right?
no.
No. Yeah.
I say
All right.
Rocky 8. Rocky beats up Jaws.
No. Follow-up question. Jaws 3D, they gave you the special glasses, or Rocky 3 featuring Clubber Lang?
I pity the fool.
Oh, for me. It's a no-brainer. Rocky 3. That might be the best Rocky.
Definitely was not the best Rocky, but Mr. T, that's Academy Award-winning performance from him.
My prediction is pain.
That might have been the worst Rocky after.
Rocky
Come on,
Five.
Loddy. Come on,
Well,
Loddy.
I didn't watch anything after 4. Those didn't count.
Rocky, no doubt.
I pity the fool who doesn't pick Rocky.
Jaws the Revenge, also known as Jaws 4, when the kids were older, or Ivan Drago, I Must Break You.
At what point do you
Rocky
stay out?
IV.
At what point do you stay out of the water? I mean,
Do you go to Russia though?
Rocky 4, we already discussed it.
he's tough. He's tough. How about Adrian? Like, couldn't he have dumped her at some point? Like, she was just like crapping on him the whole
I
time.
know,
Like,
then-
you can't do this. You're gonna die. Like,
You can't win!
come on, honey.
But then
Come on.
she shows up to Russia. Like,
To
stay
say
home.
you can't win, that's
what
just-
I'm saying.
That's a dash.
You can't
For your
win.
man.
Stay home.
Well, that does bleed into No Easy Way Out, which is a great song.
How about the race on the beach?
Great soundtrack. From
That's
4.
3. That's 3. He runs up the mountain in like a parka in Rocky 4.
I mean, does he lift the logs in that one?
That's
too?
right. That's right.
I meant 3 when they're on the
How about,
Apollo
does
training.
Draco make the boxing Hall of Fame because he was using PEDs?
He's in. All right. So, moving along. Husky headlines coming up by the commish.
All right. UConn's off to a 2-0 start. If we've learned anything after 2 games, is that Stonehill and Boston College will be a great game. Yeah, UConn had their way with both teams. They swept the Big East Weekly Awards. Adama Sanogo, preseason Player of the Week, 23 points, 10 rebounds.
Stud.
Absolute stud. Keeps getting better and better. Hit a few threes in that game, right?
Yeah, he is a stud.
And Alex Karabin, our second favorite freshman, was the Rookie of the Week for Big East. He averaged 14 points on the 2 games. I guess the only freshman in the Big East to average double figures. The Huskies play Buffalo this week and UNC Wilmington on Friday. Should be 4-0. Donovan's off to a pretty good start.
Who, Charter Oak?
Yep, the Charter Oak, 9.7 rebounds, 3 blocks through 2 games. Pretty good.
He played like almost 20 minutes the other day, or no?
Yeah,
19 minutes, was it?
yeah, they're going to get minutes with these guys out hurt. On the women's side, AZ Fudd filling in for Paige Beckers, 32 points, and UConn's win over Texas. That was a big game. That was the biggest women's game as far as rankings go so far.
Yeah, 5 versus 3, right?
Yeah, that's a good game early in the season. Let's continue with UConn football. Coming off a big win over number
Yeah,
19
baby.
Liberty, 36-33.
Ram tough.
The Huskies are now bowl eligible.
Liberty was ranked, right?
Yeah, 19.
19.
Number 19 in the country. That's a
They
great
took
win.
him down.
Jim Morris certainly embraced the challenge. I'm wondering, he went into it thinking he's going to rebuild. Are people going to be after this guy after the season? You know what he's done there? I know that there's a contract there, but he's done a great job.
He has done a very good job.
Ante up. UConn,
Yeah,
ante up.
yeah, you
bro.
got to keep
Let's
him.
go.
I mean, that's the biggest win in years for them. Rutgers rolled through its first 3 games. They got a test against Temple on Friday. They've certainly been bit by the injury bug. Caleb McConnell and Paul Mulcahy are both out with injuries. That's going to
They'll be back Friday.
Same
I'm
thing
hoping.
with UConn, though. I'm hoping that for them, they'll be able to fill in with some pieces and guys will get some experience.
I want to chime in on that Rutgers wrap up. I was privileged to go to the Thursday night game against Sacred Heart University out of Bridgeport, and 2 Connecticut Cagers were there. Joe Riley out of East Catholic and Raheem Solomon out of Sacred Heart Waterbury. And Raheem was their leading scorer, and Riley, I think, had been coming in. So it was cool to see some Connecticut guys.
Bobby Mack, you were there. Obviously, you said it. Derek Simpson. Intriguing.
Fast. He's fast.
When everybody's healthy, he's definitely part of that rotation. A little bit of a difference maker for them, no?
Yeah. The kid that had that job last year, his minutes worry me.
Miller?
Yeah, I don't know that he gets those minutes anymore. This kid's an athlete. He's upbeat. Seems like a great teammate. He got like 3 or 4 dunks just because he's out there sprinting ahead of everybody. And I think he was 10 for 10 from the line in their big win against UMass Lowell. So, look out for this kid. And if you haven't seen him yet, if you're a Rutgers fan, he's like a Geo clone. He looks just like him. Wears number 0. This is a great pickup for the Scarlet Knights.
Hey, can I go back to football for a minute?
Sure.
I know Donovan gets a lot of praise for the Bristol people, but how about Victor Rosa? 8 touchdowns leading the team. 112 carries, 449 yards, and 8 touchdowns.
Yeah,
for
he was
Bristol Kid.
he was the high school football player of the year last year too in Connecticut.
Yeah, and he also returns kickoffs and punts. Like, he's a workhorse. The kid's a workhorse. And I don't know if anyone could have predicted this, but the time that, from what I've heard, he's put into this sport in his body, this is well-deserved what he's getting.
It seems, the upside in this kid's amazing, too.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go watch him in a bowl. Or let's watch it on a couch. But
Maybe they'll be in the Pinstripe Bowl.
Then we're going.
They got Army this week.
Yeah.
They finished with Army.
At Army?
Yep. At Army.
I would love to be there. But hopefully I'll be watching the state championship game that day. Before we go to the Don Father with some NFL stuff, I do want to throw out there, we got state open swimming tonight. Some Bristol Central and Woodland people that tune in sometimes. So good luck tonight. Tomorrow, well, maybe tonight by the time this is out, Bristol Central volleyball in a semifinal down in Middletown. And the Thomaston girls soccer team chasing after a little history in a semifinal against East Catholic, I think in Meriden tomorrow night as well.
5 o'clock.
Yeah, so good luck to all the student athletes, all those high school sports. About high school sports to me, man. I love watching the other stuff, but I've been around high school sports for a long time and will continue to be. And
growing up in Thomaston, you guys know, soccer's never had a run like this.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Terrible.
How long has the Thomaston women or girls soccer program been in existence?
Not long, because it was Field Hockey City, and then they just had girls for about the last maybe since 2010, maybe a dozen years.
I think it goes to show you that anyone can coach a team in Thomaston and you bring them to the finals or get them deep in the state tournament.
To what I've heard. Moving on to the Don Father. Don Father, we missed him last week. He's mad at us for messing his pick up. He's taking a no pick for last week. Little miscommunication.
He's chapped, literally, coming from Texas.
Unbelievable. I want to do a little wrap up first. Going to last week, Loddy asked a question. We were talking about college football. He said, has there been a year where Clemson and Alabama haven't been in it? Clemson wasn't in it last year. So they did not make the college football playoff last year.
We were talking
But Bama was in it, though.
Bama,
so
the
one
only
or the
time they
other
haven't
has
been in
always been in it.
2019 is the only year Bama hasn't been in it. When LSU, Joe Burrow.
So this could be
Don
the
Father,
first
you
year
didn't listen to last week's
where
show?
one or the
Of course,
other
I always listen.
can't be in.
Jeez.
This is the first year where one or the other won't be in?
Yeah, because
Or both.
Clemson has one, so they're going to be out with one, right?
And Bama can't get in with two, right?
No, they're already eliminated already.
All right.
They can't even get into the conference title. So, and then a couple other people sitting at this booth, or one of them sitting at this recording booth, mentioning Dawn Father really going out on a limb, picking chalk. Yeah, keep laughing. By the way, because I picked Nick Chubb to have a good game. Is Nick Chubb the number 1 ranked running back? No. Number 2? No. Number 3? No. Nick Chubb has averaged 11 points a game over the last 4 weeks.
He scores touchdowns every week.
He's averaged 11 points a game over the last 4 weeks with PPR. So, no, that's not chalk, my friends. That's a pick.
Why are you so sensitive, though? What's
Because
going
they
on?
were firing off last week because I wasn't here to defend myself.
Who's there?
Not you, Loddy.
Okay, all right.
The other two.
Jeff taking the
I'm
gun
in
out
your
of the holster.
corner. I'm in your corner, Don Father.
Also, the great All the Right Moves reference. Jay has a great shirt on tonight. Josh Allen pulled in all the right moves, right, on Sunday.
Was that classic? Yeah.
All he had to do was fall forward, and they win the game.
You should have gave Salvucci the ball.
That's the first thing I thought of was you guys doing a great segment last week, and All the Right Moves was awesome.
How
Then I
about
hear
the
that.
second or third fastest guy in the field just has to roll out and get out of the end zone? Like, I don't like those jam up plays when there's that much space to go.
Is there another podcast in the country that does 15 minutes on all the right moves, though?
Wait till next
I
week
mean,
with Loudon
seriously.
Swain. Vision Quest coming up.
Oh, nice.
God.
I love that one.
Another one I've never seen.
You got a homework commission.
All right. So, and by the way, thank you. You're all very welcome for Christian Kirk last week. 34 fantasy points this weekend. So bring that one to the bank. You all won your matchups if you played him. I'm not going to mention anybody I picked last night in the the Skins Eagles game, Commanders Eagles game. All right, we're going to move to dumpster fire of the week. It's a tie, and I love to say that the Cowboys are one of the two. I love it. I relish it. 14-point lead blown to the Packers in the fourth quarter, who just lost to the Lions. Mike McCarthy, what are you thinking? Why are you not kicking a field goal in overtime? I'm not sure. But I have a tie. Like I said, dumpster fire of the week. Cowboys is team number 1. Team number 2 has got to be the Raiders. I mean, their quarterback's crying at the podium after the game. maybe you wouldn't cry if you completed one pass in the first quarter. No completed passes in the first quarter. Raiders are awful. They're tight end, number 2 wide receiver, IR for the year. Another thing, did you know, the Raiders have released 4 of their last top 6 number 1 draft picks.
Yeah, nice job, Mike Mayock. What's going on?
Since 2019, Bobby, they've had 6 first-round draft picks. They've released 4 of them.
Kidding me?
Gone.
That's why they're
4.
2 and...
I don't know who the other 2 are. I
7.
know Josh Jacobs is one of them.
Is Davis' son own the team?
Yeah, nice haircut.
He got to go, too.
Oh, he's,
Can we get him, Jerry Jones, and Hal in a plane or something like that and send him to a
Hal's
nice
plane.
vacation spot? Let him stay there? Jeez.
By the way, bear in mind, watch the weather this weekend, guys, because if you've seen the weather for Buffalo, Cleveland right now,
what do we got?
up 2 to 3 inches, 2 to 3 feet of snow Thursday through Sunday for Cleveland at Buffalo.
I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know if anyone else is feeling
called
this. I'm thinking Chubb.
Lake effect. That's
Huh?
what that's called. Lake effect.
It is. That's a record for November, though. 2 to 3 feet. So just watch that. It's supposed to taper off right around game time. By the way, I don't know if you all watched Brady throw 7 touchdowns like 12 years ago to Wes Walker in the snow. They can throw in the snow. Just keep that in mind. Watch your fantasy lineups if you got 2 feet of snow coming into Buffalo.
Chubb.
Injuries, guys. Hopefully you paid attention today. Cooper Kupp is now out 4 to 6 weeks. He's on IR. That's a hit. I think it's going to be good for Allen Robinson. I think it's going to be good for Van Jefferson. I still don't think Matthew
Skalrank.
Stafford's going to play this weekend. I think it's going. They're all going to get 3 to 4 more targets. I mean, I don't think Stafford's going to play. Why rush him back? But that's a big
They suck, though.
news. They do. They're terrible. Last night, Dallas Goedert hurt. Wish he got hurt to play before. He didn't. Out 4 weeks, probably 2 to 4 weeks. They said with a shoulder injury. That's big. Philly does not have a legitimate backup tight end. As
Awful
Angry
news.
Jay can say.
Awful
He's a
news.
big staple for Jalen Hurts in the middle
Stud.
Did I also read that Ertz is out
for the season.
Season.
For the
those former
season.
teammates, right? Those two.
And look at if you're desperate for a tight end for fantasy, because as I mentioned, they're awful this year. I mean, they're terrible. You got a couple guys on bye. Ertz out for the year. Goddard out. Look for McBride. He's Ertz's backup. I mean, there's a reason why he was the number 1 tight end taken in the draft last year. 2nd round pick out of Colorado State. Guy ran a 4.5 40 at the combine. Had a 38-inch vertical. He was number 1 pass catching tight end.
Where
If you
did
need
Mike Mayock rank him? That's what I want to
He
know.
actually got fired before he could actually make that pick. But the Raiders guy is pretty good, too, Moreau.
Yeah, Moreau's not bad.
It'd be a good pickup.
He'll be better right now. I think if you're looking long term, McBride might be good long term. But again, we don't know if Colt McCoy is playing this week or Kyler yet. It's a Monday night game. So if you got Kyler as your starting quarterback and you're going to wait till Monday, you might want to pick up Colt McCoy as a backup if you really want to wait on that. Hopefully you'll watch that game in Germany. Great game. Tom Brady is now 4-0 in international games. He's never lost. The Bucs had never won one prior to Brady getting there. Brady's now 4-0, which is great. And so Brady completed, by the way, 2 third down and 10s on Sunday. Prior to that, he completed 1 third down and 9 or more all season. The entire year, Tom Brady completed 1 first down of more than third down and 9 yards. I thought that was unbelievable for a guy of his caliber throwing to those weapons. I got a trivia question, by the way, guys. You know, I like to drop in these ones here. So, who's the only receiver ever to have 1,000 yards in his first 8 NFL seasons? He is active still.
Brandon Cooks.
That is wrong. I love the guess, though.
8?
First 8 NFL seasons, and he's playing still today.
None of the Giants. Amari Cooper.
Oh, you beat me to it, Bobby.
Amari Cooper? No.
Huh?
Get us stumped?
Let's get 2 more guesses. Come
No,
on,
hold
Commissioner.
up, hold up, hold up.
Loddy's got a guess.
I was going Cooper, so give me a second.
8 seasons. Wow.
Silence is good for the podcast.
It doesn't seem as good now as it...
Michael Thomas.
Wrong. Loddy, you got a guess?
No.
By the way, 1,000 yards doesn't seem like to me. That means less and less. It's like 60 yards a game now,
60
right?
yards a
With
game.
17
Yeah.
games.
Yeah, but still 8 years.
Mike
This-
Evans.
All right, Mike.
I thought the Tampa Bay Bucks leading might give you guys a clue to that, but
Did you think he was going to be a little better coming out of A&M? Like,
I'm upset.
like elite.
Did he play with Manziel?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Who'd Manziel get drafted by?
Some awful team.
What else you got, Don Father?
All right, I'll give you one more, Loddy, because I know you love it. So, the highest QBR in a season ever. It's a two-part question, actually. So, who had the highest QBR ever in an NFL season?
Drew Brees?
He's 2 of the top 5, but he's not number 1. I've been teeing this up for you for the last 5 minutes. I mean,
Brady.
Well, it's going to be Jalen Hurts, I think, by the end of the year.
2007. Okay, so
174
Angry
yards.
Jay, that's the second part of that question. Who this year has the highest QBR in the NFL? And I'll also tell you right now, that same person has the highest yards per attempt this year. Same person, highest QBR and highest yards per attempt in the NFL this year.
Tua.
Boom.
It'll be Jalen Hurts by the
Tua
end of the
what?
year.
No, all right.
Tua lost.
No.
I was surprised by the yards per attempt. I didn't know he was going to be number 1 yards per attempt because he throws a lot of dunks, but guys like Hill and Waddle take a 2-yard pass into a 12-yard pass. So,
That's a great job, Jeff.
but 9.2 yards per attempt for Tua. That's, and by the way, his
light work.
His QBR this year is 83, and Brady's was 87. Was the highest ever.
Was it 6 weeks ago? They didn't even know if he was going to play again this year.
Yeah, he was like
I mean,
brain dead.
he didn't even know where he was for like 10 days.
9
He
and
looked
1,
like
9 and 1 his
Donaldson
last
at
10
the plate.
starts.
Get him back out there.
Right, 9 and 1 guys his last 10 starts.
He looked like Hicks and left.
All right, we'll pivot into the stardom situms, Mac. Quarterbacks. We got to go Danny Dimes. I mean, come on, the Giants are hot. Angry Jay's excited about that right now.
I think
He's
Jay's
good.
Mount Rushmore was shorter in this segment.
Nobody said I can only pick 4. Danny Dimes playing against Detroit. Detroit gives up 23 points a game to quarterbacks. Danny Dimes will run for 60.
Jay, give us some more nicknames while you're out of here.
Dak against Minnesota. By the way, funniest line of the week. Why is Dallas favored against the Vikings? Yeah, nobody can answer.
No, I have no idea.
It's crazy. Last quarterback, Justin Fields. He's unbelievable. He's on fire, and he's playing against the Falcons, who have the worst pass defense in the NFL. And the over-under is 50. There's a reason why it's 50. We're going to sit Derek Carr because he's probably still crying in the podium somewhere.
Yeah, what was that all about? Is he going to be
terrible,
okay?
Terrible. He's not. He has nobody to throw to other than Devontae Adams. And by the way, they're playing against Denver. So Adams is going against Surtain. That's going to be an awesome matchup if you can watch that game, which most of us can't. We're also going to sit Jacoby Brissett. Sorry, Loddy. We're sitting your Browns boy playing in Buffalo with 5 feet of snow against that defense who's going to be very angry after last week. Running back, Mac, we're starting Cordarrelle. He's going to have a good week. He's playing against the Bears. The Bears gave up 4 touchdowns to running backs over the last 2 weeks. He was rested on Thursday night. Coach came out and said, he hadn't played in a month and a half. I don't want to give him too many carries on a short week. That's why he wasn't the lead dog Thursday night. He'll be the lead dog again, I think, on this week. And that Dameon Pierce. The Texans just signed, brain freeze, Eno Benjamin, who the Cardinals just cut today for some weird reason. The Texans signed him to be a third down back. Pierce might not get the receptions, but he'll be a workhorse this week against the Commanders. And you want to bench James Conner. I don't care if he had 2 touchdowns last week. He had averaged less than 3 yards a carry. They're playing San Francisco. Any running back for the Jets. Patriots coming off a bye. Belichick is a monster off byes. Don't start the Jets running backs. We'll wrap up with receivers, Mac. We're going to start Ayuk against Arizona. They're really weak in the short pass game. Debo could have a good game, but I don't want to go chalk. So I'm going to say start Ayuk this week.
Just take Chubb.
And T. Higgins. No Jamar Chase still. Cincinnati's going to throw. They're going to throw to Higgins. Boyd will have a good game, too. And then go to Christian Watson. I know I'm riding the points on this one, but Rodgers likes to throw deep. And who else are you going to go throw deep to? You got to throw to Christian Watson. They're playing Thursday night, by the way, so make sure you get that pick in. They're playing against Tennessee on Thursday.
Probably the best Thursday night matchup of the year, right? I mean, the rest have been.
I mean, yeah, that is
Dog
like being
food.
the tallest midget, but yeah, that's it is.
show.
Yeah.
Family show.
Amazon's struggling with that one.
So you're going to sit Garrett Wilson against the Patriots. He's been on fire lately, but again, it's the Patriots off a bye. Belichick knows what he's doing. And Deontay Johnson against Cincinnati. If you've noticed, Pickens is Pickett's boy. He's going to get the handoffs. He's going to get the reverses. He's going to get the deep shots. So I wouldn't be playing Deontay Johnson right now. And if you want a tight end streamer, because that tight ends are really thin, throw out DeJuan Johnson. He's going to have a good game, I think. They're due. They're playing against the Rams. The Rams are an absolute, to quote myself, dumpster fire right now. No Cooper Kupp. Stafford, I don't think, is going to play. Their defense is Jalen Ramsey's already talking.
Running backs in and out.
Talking about the offense already. Jalen Ramsey's already talking smack about his own offense. That team is they're punting already right now, so they're gonna phone it in. So I think throw a guy like Dwan Johnson out there, and he's going to get some. And I think Jameis Winston's going to play this week. I think they're so debating. That means they're going to go with Jameis Winston, and I think he's going to throw the ball to Johnson.
Don Father, well done. You got a pick for me? After last week's pick.
Oh, I got to go over the picks. I mean, well, yeah, I actually have a pick this week, and so you guys don't have to phone it in for me. I am going with the Cardinals.
Oh, my.
I'm going
We
with
hurt
the
his feelings.
Arizona Cardinals getting 8.
No matter who the quarterback is?
No matter who the quarterback is, against the Niners, getting 8. Why? Cliff Kingsbury 7-1 against San Francisco in his horrible coaching career.
Does anybody like Cliff Kingsbury?
I can't stand him, but he's
I think he
7-1
likes
against the
him.
Niners.
I think he likes Cliff Kingsbury. Yeah.
He likes himself.
He's got a mirror or two in that,
So
in that house.
I've been stinking it up, and I'll just keep this brief. And I'm sick of this Giants talk. I'm taking Detroit +3 at New York. That's all you need to know.
Fishy
Golf-
line. I
golf
like the
goes
pick.
wild.
Fishy line.
Don Father, I want you to know I wrote down my pick way ahead of all your stats because I knew Belichick off the bye week. It's going to be the Pats over the Jets. Zach Wilson's going to be running for his life. They just played it seems like within the last month, and that didn't go very well for Zach, and I don't think it's going to go well this time either. What's my record overall in that anyway?
I was going to go over that. Loddy is leading the pack at 6-2.
We don't have to do it.
Loddy is 6-2. Don
Go
Father
Knicks.
is 4-3. Mac is back to 500 at 4-4. Angry Jay is 2-4. And Kamish is we're still waiting for something on the front end of his
Need a batting
number.
average here.
Stay hot cash to Angry Jay.
Well, on that note, I'm going to take the Chiefs minus 6.5 over the Chargers.
All right, roll Chargers.
Not feeling
Herbert
it.
is Herbert out
I
too?
need to get off the snide.
I'm going to ride one of the hottest hands in football right now, Mr. Fields, at the Falcons, giving up only 3. I know the Falcons are playing a little bit better, but the Bears. People thought they were punting, and I think they're a little more formidable than.
Kind of fun to watch that kid, huh? All of a sudden,
yeah.
they're letting him do his thing.
And I was down on him when he ran his mouth early in the year, but some of these college quarterbacks come in, it doesn't translate to the NFL. He's been on fire, and Hurts undisputable. Murray, Jackson, Allen is in that group. There's a new prototype of quarterback. They got to be more athletic, I think.
He's 5th in the NFL in rushing right now, including running backs, Justin Fields.
Just so you know, for your stats, Don Father, Pats are -3. How about the AFC East? If the season ended today, they'd all be in.
All of them?
All of them. And in the NFC East, if the season ended today, they'd all be in besides Washington, and they're only a half a game out of being in. That's crazy.
I believe that's the best record in the history of the NFL for one division through is the NFC East.
NFC East, it's crazy.
10 weeks, yeah.
That definitely wasn't predicted at the beginning of the year.
Ron Rivera, emotional. Don Father, as always, great job. Guys, this whole segment was brought to you by Skygazer. Don Father's got a special relationship with the company, and they always sponsor the Don Father moment. We want to thank our producer, Mark Davis, also known as Schmave. A special thanks to our audio engineer, AJ Bonnell.
Oh, my God.
Above and beyond that guy. Great job,
AJ. Good job.
Awesome.
Speaking of
Tom
nicknames,
Lemansky.
speaking of nicknames, also known as the Round Mound of Sound. But guys, another great week. Things are really, really heating up. Follow us, Loddy and Mac on the sports. What is it?
Loddy and Mac
Sports on the sack, I think.
Loddy and Mac Sports on the
Unless you
Sack.
changed it.
LODMAC
Let's get
_Yank.
sued again. That's the name, right?
IG coming up. Special guest coming up. Hot stove is going on, guys. Cash, get a little hot. Just heat up a little bit. Get us judgy, and then make another move or two. Maybe loosen Hal up. Let us get Judge in, Turner.
And then maybe resign.
That would be good. Okay. A hurricane? Thanks, everybody. Go Cowboys. Go Yanks. Smell ya.
Go Rutgers. Let's do it.